Hi there, it's Tracy here from the Papercraft Studio. Thank you for joining me today. Today I want to show you how I made my Lazy Days shadow box card. So you can see that's how it looks from the top. These fold in and that's how it goes into the envelope. So it just gives you that little box. Okay, so the supplies you need to make this are... Sorry, I should just show you first. I'm using Lazy Days stamp set here and dies. These are amazing. I mean, I just had to have this set. I know there's so much we can do with it. So you can see I've used the rocking chair, the table, the little birdhouse, this little hanging plant, this one, the rug. There's so many things. And then there's dies that coordinate. That's the wrong ones. Those won't coordinate. These ones will. All these dies, you've got this, I don't really know what that's called. Pagoda. I don't know. You know what I mean. Anyway, this thing. This little fence piece, it's going to come back to me. Veranda? No, I don't know. I can't think what it's called. And then lots of the little leaves. You've got this one here. Cuts the birdhouse. I've got some of the dies out already. We're going to cut some of these. I'm just going to pull those ones out as well because I'm going to need them. There's a different rocking chair here as well. So much in this set. I love it. And if you buy it as a bundle from me, you can save yourself 10%. Or you can buy the stamp set, the stamps and the dies separately. Just going to show you a couple of other things we've used for this card here. So that's the stamp set here in the dies. That's on page 19 of the annual catalogue. I've also used, which one's coming next? This is our 2 3/8 circle punch. So we lost a few circle punches in the catalogues, but this is how I've created this kind of hole here. And then the sunset on the back I've used, and I use these so many times, are stylish shapes dies, and I've used the biggest one here, the biggest circle. And then the only other thing I wanted to show you was to get the sunset, I'm going to be using our blending brushes here. They're on page 137 of the catalogue, and they come in sets of 3. And you can get either the larger ones or the smaller ones. So they're great addition. You don't have to have one for every colour. You can wash them out. And even if there's a bit of colour showing still on there, it will be clean. Okay, so let's pop this to one side and I'll show you the actual supplies you need. So obviously we've used the stamp set. You need 2 pieces of thick basic white cardstock, and these measure 6 1/4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. I've gone ahead and cut this largest stylish shapes circle, so I've just cut that in regular basic white. To cut this little pagoda thing, I don't know what it's called, I've cut a piece here of basic white. I've done thick, actually, basic white, which measures 3 1/2 inches by 3 1/2 inches. And it's because I wanted to only use part of the die, and I wanted it to go a certain width. So I've just kind of worked that out for you. So I'll show you when we're cutting that. You need a scrap of thick basic white as well to cut this little fence. And then you need a scrap of regular basic white to stamp all of these on and colour with the blends. So looks like a lot of work, but once you get going, it's really not. So let's start on the card base here. So you're going to score. Let's bring in my score. Oh, not my camera, sorry. I was giving everyone a headache and probably showing the mess on my desk. So you're going to score. Actually, I'm just going to stand up and check that we're still all in shot. Okay, so on each of the pieces here, the 2 bases, I guess, you're going to score on each end of the long side at 1/2 inch and at 1 inch, and then spin it round and do the same on this side, 1/2 inch and 1 inch, and then do the same on the other piece. So you've got 2 pieces making this card base exactly the same. I don't know what I've got this on, but you know, do your scoring on a flat surface, don't struggle like me. So 1/2 inch, 1 inch, and the same at both ends. So that's all the scoring done. I'm not even sure what I was on then, but it wasn't very even. Okay, So while we've got this here, just choose one, doesn't matter which. Take your 2 3/8 inch circle punch and center it between these two middle score lines here, and as far down as your punch will go. So you can see there I'm hitting that base there. So I'm going to cut this, punch this about there. And you just need to do that on one side. Keep this as a little tag or a scrap to stamp on. So you can see we've got one there and the other one's not punched. Okay. So then with this, you want to fold away this center line there. Looking for a bone folder. Give it a little burnish with your bone folder, and then on this one you fold it back on itself to make a little concertina fold, and that's what you're looking for there. And then do the same on this side. So you're going to fold away from the middle, give it a burnish, and then fold back on itself, and do that on the back one as well. So fold away from the middle and then back on itself. Take your time with this. You can pause me, you can rewind me. I don't mind. I'll still be here. So what's going to happen eventually is these two are going to sit together like that. So these outside pieces are going to join together, and that's how you get your base for your shadow box card, okay? But we're not going to worry about that just yet. So let's do some stamping. There's a lot of stamping here, and don't worry, I'm not going to make you sit and watch me put them all through the cutting machine and then color them all in. I'll give you some tips on which ones I'm coloring, but yeah, that would be a bit of a boring video, wouldn't it? So I usually stamp in Memento, black Memento ink, but this time I'm using basic grey ink. So I'm stamping the rocking chair, the table, in shot here, can't quite see, so the table, then this little basket, or a barrel I guess, of plants here, the hanging basket, let's see what else I need to stamp in this colour. I'm looking for the little bird box. Where did I put that? Here it is. Little bird box. And of course you can mix this up and do whichever ones you fancy. And then also we're going to stamp the rug, but in Balmy Blue. I had a bit of a practice to see which colours I wanted to, you know, to colour in and to stamp in, but Balmy Blue was the one for the rug, and I had it 2 seconds ago, and again it's gone. Found it. This is quite a big stamp, so you can either do you know, ink to stamp or just move this along. It actually inks up quite well, so just going to stamp it along there. Okay, so I'm going to do a little bit of colouring first, and then I'll cut these out just to show you some colours that I've used. Sometimes it's easier to colour once they're while they're still, you know, whole. So this is, I've got these for my class still, all these blends. So I'm using light and dark crumb cake for the chair and the table, with some lemon lolly and bubble bath for the drinks. I'm using light and dark, have I got light and dark there? Yes, granny apple green for the plants, and then light and dark pecan pie for the pots, and then light and dark nearly says soft sky, that's a blast from the past, pool party for the birdhouse. So I'm just going to show you basically with the chair. I just mainly did it with the light crumb cake with a little bit of the darker one on a couple of the accents down here, but really not a lot, just on these bases here. But mainly the light crumb cake, so I'm not going to show you me colouring that one in. Again, with the drinks, just coloured them solid. With the plants here, I've used the fine end of the blends, and I'm just doing kind of random half leaves. Some of them I'll do whole, just going across with the dark, and then doing the bits that I've left with the light just to give it a bit of difference. Some of them I'll just do a hole like that. So again, I'm doing the same with this one. With the barrel here, I'm going to do the kind of bands here with the darker Pecan Pie. Pecan Pie is my new favourite brown. Maybe this top of the tub here. I should use a fine end. It's making it tricky using that end. And then I will do just a little bit. I'll show you what I do with the light one here. So I'm going to colour the rest of this tub here with the light one. And then just on one end, I'm just going to go over a bit. You could do it with the dark one, but I'm just going to go over just to give a bit of kind of darker detail on this end of the pot. And then just to show you on this one as well, there is a little pot in here. Again, I'm going to use the smaller end just to show you where it is, because it's quite hard to spot in amongst these leaves. Base here, top there, and again I'll do the same with this little extra bit of shading down here. I find it blends quite well if you do light on light. Did exactly the same with these leaves on here, so some lighter ones and then some darker ones too, and again I'll finish these off in a few minutes, but I'll just show you here so you can actually see kind of where the pot is. Makes a bit more sense. There we go. And then with the birdhouse, I used dark crumb cake, I think, just along the bottom here for the little wooden base, and then light and dark pool party. So again, did a little bit darker on, ooh, that doesn't look too good, that one. I use this end, a little bit darker on one side here, and then blended it in with the lighter pool party. I love pool party. I still wish Soft Sky would come back, but I do love pool party. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead, finish colouring those in, and I'm going to cut them out with the dies. Like I say, all of these have got little dies to go over them, so I'll pin them in place with some washi, and then I'll come back after I've coloured and cut so you don't get too bored. See you in a bit. Okay, that's a whole lot of cutting and colouring there gone on. Let's pop all these out. We'll sort the dies in a little moment after the video. Okay, don't these look cute? Honestly, so pretty. Right, let's have a go at this circle. So we're going to do this little background circle in here, and you can see it's just attached separately. And there is a bit of a knack here. So I've used Misty Moonlight, Pumpkin Pie, and Flirty Flamingo inks. Now the key here is to go really gently, especially with the Misty Moonlight, because if you go straight onto here, you're just going to get a splodge and it's going to be really dark and it won't look great. So tap on the ink here, a metal shot, let's tap that. So you're going to tap a lot of that off there, and then just start on your grid and come in and just gradually build up the colour here. Otherwise you're going to end up with that, and we don't want that. Well, you may want that, but I don't want that. Okay, so each time you re-ink it, just, oh, see, look, I've kind of done that a bit myself. I didn't really want to do that. I didn't really come on enough, but I think I've blended it in. That's fine. Okay, so next we're going to use the pumpkin pie. So, just getting my right one here. So again, tap on there, tap off, and then we're just kind of, am I still in shot here? Yeah. Just going to come on to this middle bit here and just build up the colour. So we don't, again, want a big orange kind of splodge on there. So just come off the paper first. Try and blend it in a bit with the sea. This could be sky or sea, but I I saw it as sea, but you could do it as sky if you wanted. Okay, so, and then finally we're going to use Flirty Flamingo. So I'm using different brushes for all of these. I'll clean them up afterwards. So again, exactly the same. Don't go kind of all guns blazing with it. Come off a bit and then just build up that little, oops, don't want on the birdhouse, that little kind of pretty sunset there. And you know, you can cut more of these if you didn't like how it worked the first time, but you know, that's how I got my colours there. So let's, I'm just putting these back in bags. So I've got a class tomorrow. It's my last class doing this, so I just wanted to get this video done. So at this point you could, if you want, pop this in here. So I see this as a C, so this is going to go in here, and you could arrange it to see where you want it to go, but I'm going to do that afterwards. I'm going to stick these together first, so choose one or the other, and you're going to put, actually let's choose the bottom one. You're going to put tape or glue on this very edge here. I might use glue because you've got a little bit of time to wiggle it around, and I'm just going to do one end at a time, okay? So let's pop these two together at one end and make sure they're lined up. Whoops. Pretty much like that. Okay, so I'm just going to hold that there for a second while that just takes hold. You might need to hold it for a bit longer. I'll do it a bit quicker for the video. And then again at this end, you can fold that back on itself just to kind of stick down if you like. This end again, you're going to put some more glue on. And with this liquid glue, this multi-purpose liquid glue, it is really strong, so it will hold. This end's slightly tricky, so I'm just going to push it down, and then I'm going to make this kind of meet here. It might not be perfect. It doesn't matter when it's stuck together, to be honest, as long as it's pretty much there. So both of these ends now are like that, and when they come back together, you push this bit into the middle, and that's what creates that little box shape, and that's how it goes in the envelope. Okay, so you can see there, mine's a little bit bendy. That's fine, because when it's stood up, it's absolutely fine. So going in the envelope, it's not going to be totally flat, but that's how it stands. Okay, so, and then it moves like that. So at this stage, I popped this in, and all I did was I put some glue on the back here, not all the way over, just enough to make it stick. And then I just slid it down the back here and positioned it. So I'm kind of positioning it up in the air before I stick it down. I'm just going to stand up so I can get my head over that a minute so I can see, because I want to see a bit of all of the sunset here. Okay. You've got a few seconds to move it around if you want to. Oh, mine's really high up there, actually. Oh, right. Oh, well, that's where it is for now, but it won't show at the top of the card. This one I did down slightly, but anyway, that works. That's fine. Happy with that. Okay, so one thing I haven't shown you yet is how to cut. Did I put the dies back? How to cut the pagoda, let's call it that. So I'll show you that now. So like I said, I've cut that 3.5 square of thick cardstock. Just move that to the side for a second, because what I want to do is pin this in place on here. Let me just get some washi tape to do that. Steal it off something else that I've just put back in here. I do kind of miss washi tape, but luckily I had some left over. But like I say, post-it note will do. So you want to line it up so that this piece here, you see the blade goes pretty much to the end, but not quite, because we want to make sure we don't have a little kind of really skinny piece there if possible. So line this up along the top so you can see a little bit of it, and I've got this end just poking over that edge, a teeny tiny bit, because I can see then that's going to cut a nice piece there. So pinning this side down, and then I'm going to bring it up to show you in the camera. I need something behind it really. Let's see what I've got around. Catalogue, that will do. Okay, so can you see there's a very fine white line above there, and I've gone slightly over that edge, really slightly, because I want the blade to cut it. And then I'm just going to cut that one at the same time, just out of this little scrap here that's going to come out. So I'll be right back when I've cut those two. Okay, so this one fell out. Gently peel this one back, take off the washi, and then I don't know if you know, but these little holes in our dies are to help us peel them away from the dies. So just take your pick tool in there and then gently peel that back. Normally I put this through twice actually, so I might have to poke out a few bits here. So you can see I've still got this little line here on the end, which I wanted. If you don't, just snip it, you know, to the next line. I'm just going to poke out these few bits here, hoping they come out, because sometimes you need to run it through a couple of times. Okay, they seem to be coming out. And the cardstock is surprisingly tough on there. And with this bit, just go along with your brush to get the extra bits out. And then this one, I'm just going to poke out these little bits here, and then put my tool in the end there and just pull that little fence off, so we get rid of these little bits there. Okay, so when it came to sticking this on, I angled it so that this little point in the middle here was roughly hanging down in the middle of that little thing here, and had it quite close to the edge of the circle, so that you saw quite a lot of that little kind of detail up there. So you could cut it with some backing on. I don't think it will work so well, because then all of this would have adhesive backing on, and it's not going to work very well. So the best thing is to put tiny dots of glue, get rid of these little bits, where you can. Just be careful, because not all of the bottom edge is going to stick to it. So just along this top edge really, I've just put it on that right hand side, because I know that's going to stick to the card. But just tiny dots. If you can't get little dots, if you're not confident getting little dots out, put some on some scrap paper and then just lift up little bits as you go. Right, so let's flip this over, try not to get too gluey. And like I say, we're going to have it quite close to the edge of the circle, and with this one roughly in the middle, and then this just nicely kind of goes down that side. So I'm just going to push it all down, make sure it's stuck in place. Okay, so can you see where I've got that? Like I say, it's not quite middle here, but it's not far off. And then with the fence, again, I put it roughly in the middle of this piece, but just put glue on these bottom pieces here, because I wanted a bit of the fence detail to show across the sea there. So just put the glue on these bottom little kind of rugby ball shapes. And that's going to stick. Let's have that about there. You could put a bit more glue at the top if you wanted on the ends, but to be honest, that was just fine. Okay, now we're going pretty well. So we're going to stick the rug on. You can position all these things and have a little look where you want to do them, but I can see from my card here roughly where I've put mine before. So I'm going to go ahead, glue this one down. So let's have that about there. Oh, let's move it across because it's coming out off the card. It's longer on one side, so just, you know, be aware of that, but this fits perfectly in an envelope. I'm going to prop my little rocking chair up on some dimensionals. Actually, I just need to poke a couple of bits out the back here from where the die cut didn't quite go through. So a couple of dimensionals on the back. Sorry, I know this is a long video, but hopefully you'll think it's worth it because it's quite a sweet little card, I think. So let's have that coming slightly, oops, stick that back down, slightly off the rug and hiding that kind of join by the fence there. Not going to try and pronounce that again because I really can't remember what it's called. Pop the plant pot on. I just did that with glue over this side towards the edge of the rug there. The table, again, I popped on a couple of dimensionals. You might need the smaller ones. I'm not sure. We might get away with the... Oh, I'm going to go with smaller. If you haven't got smaller ones, just, you know, snip down some bigger ones if it looks a bit... if it looks as though you're not going to get them on the back here without them showing through. Okay. I was going to do this in my class in July and I just couldn't get a design that I liked. So I thought, you know what, I'm just going to put it to one side until I do my next class. And I'm really pleased I did because I'm so happy with how this one came out. Right, let's stick on this. Again, there's a little dot here I know I want to push out. And this is just going to hang here. I couldn't decide which side, but I wanted the little bird table as well. Actually, my bird table's gone. It should be on top of that. There we go, on that one. So going to be careful where you put the glue because this little edge here isn't going to be stuck. So just put it under this side. You don't want to get to this stage and then ruin this lovely card. I'm going to put a bit more at the top because I know that's going to stay on the card. So pop this one. I wanted it so that it was going across into that little aperture bit as well. Perfect. And then just the little bird table, I popped a dimensional under him. Bird table, bird house. It's not a table, is it? It's a house. Sorry, it's getting late here. It's probably it's nearly midnight, I think. So yeah, I'm getting things a bit muddled. So he's just going to hang off the end there. And then I just finished it off with a bit of bling because my class ladies love it. So I can't let them down and not have it. So excuse me rattling around in my box here. So I'm using my favourites here. These are Tinsel Gems 3-pack. So I'm using one of these little ones to go on my little hanging basket up here. And then just a couple of the kind of oceany colour ones down here just to finish this off. And yeah, I think that's it. So I really hope you've enjoyed making this Lazy Days shadow box card with me. Take care. See you soon. Bye.